Well, good afternoon. I'm humbled to stand before you today to introduce our mayor, Jerry Mouton. Jerry Mouton Jr. was elected Deer Park's 9th mayor in May 2013, having previously served as a member of the Deer Park City Council. During his decade as mayor, the city of Deer Park has seen incredible growth and expansion, with so much more soon to arrive, as you're about to hear. A visionary leader, Mayor Mouton equally prioritizes the need for first-class public safety, the importance of drainage and infrastructure projects, and the community's appreciation for quality of life enhancements, such as our library and parks. Through Hurricane Harvey, the ITC fires, Winter Storm Uri, and the 2023 tornado, he has shepherded Deer Park through the storm, quite literally, on numerous occasions. Because of his knowledge and experience in leading a municipality during an emergency event, he often is sought out as a presenter at area and statewide events and conferences. As a matter of fact, he was recently asked to apply to be part of the Texas Division of Emergency Management team to serve as a subject matter expert for elected officials throughout the state during disaster events. Yeah, round of applause for Mr. Mouton. For many years, Mayor Mouton has led a quarterly meeting of regional mayors, forging the kind of relationships which led 9 other cities to assist Deer Park with debris removal in the aftermath of the recent tornado. Let's have a round of applause for that as well. Many people often say they have never seen a stronger relationship between Deer Park ISD and the city of Deer Park, a compliment that begins with our mayor. He uses his passion and profound network to serve the constituents of our great city. He has a true public servant's heart. Mayor Mouton is a graduate of Western Governors University, where he earned a Bachelor of Business Administration. He also possesses an MBA from LSU Shreveport. Go Tigers. He and his wife, Tammy, the First Lady of Deer Park, will be celebrating 39 years of marriage in April. They have three wonderful children, all of whom have equally wonderful spouses. And they are most proud. Mayor Mouton and Tammy are blessed with 3 amazing grandchildren and a pretty phenomenal grand dog. It is my distinct honor to present the mayor of the city of Deer Park, the birthplace of Texas, Mr. Jerry Mouton Jr.
You may be seated. Thank you so much for being here today. I'd be remiss if I didn't start by acknowledging my wife. And you know, there's not any secret to any of us that fall into context of leadership. You got to have a strong base at home, and my wife is my strength. And there's many days that when I'm off serving in the role of mayor, the one thing I know that my wife is at home praying for me and our community. And I know here recently we've been through some interesting weeks, and as I was gone running about, I knew she was at home praying. And for me, that's priceless. To my mother, who's here, as I've said a few times, was probably not the smartest thing, but I wouldn't be here without you, Mom, so thank you. I can say a lot of different things. To the mayors, I'm going to obviously acknowledge y'all in just a bit, but I don't know what I'd do without the relationships of my peers, and I'd put the East End mayors up against anybody in regards to not only our relationships, but the quality of life that we all are responsible for managing through and handling, and I value your relationship. So thank you so much for being here and taking time. So, welcome. Obviously, the vision is we had a retreat here recently with staff, and instead of reading the vision, I just asked them, well, what is the vision? Not based on a definition of what we'd like to achieve, but what have we done in the last 10 years? A lot of what we're going to do today is going to line up with the vision and the mission of how we are delivering this. Strategic planning, in any aspect of how you deliver in these kind of situations, you obviously have to have a plan. You don't just accidentally end up somewhere. But these are some of the areas of emphasis that we focus on here in the city. I'm going to be running through a lot of these pretty fast, or you will be here for a while. And I know I don't want you to be here longer listening to me than you have to. I guess in some aspects, before I get too far into this, there is obviously some things that are going on currently right now, and to address, shall I say, several of them. There's a lot of rumors about what's going on with the news in regards to Deer Park. Yes, they're all true, what you're hearing, but as I've addressed in the media quite a bit here in the last not only few hours, but in the last several days, the product that's coming here is going to one of our industry partners, and they're, without an exception, they're one of the best in the nation in regards to how to handle this content. I'm not concerned. I have extreme confidence that our industry partners are well equipped and to handle what is coming down here. So just to put that one out there, in case you haven't been seeing on the news, called my mom today. She's like, "Is that really true?" I'm like, "Yes, Mom. All you had to do is call me." And it's like, really, Mom? And to dispel another rumor that's been perpetrating around our community, I am running for office again. There's been some confusion. I've had more calls with all this been going on. Are you running again? I'm like, yes, I'm running again. Who's saying I'm not running again? Well, for some reason, that seems to be a topic of conversation. And just to finalize on that one, I haven't started putting my signs out yet, and there's a reason why, because thanks to the other cities that are helping us, I just want to get the trash cleaned up first. I want our city to be taken care of, and that's more important to me right now than focusing on putting signs out. So that's where we're at. So now let's get back to the fun stuff, or at least fun for me. In May of 2021, we put a lot of things on the ballot. These are a lot of the projects that we're going to go through here today. It's at times there's been questions about cash reserves. The city has a good amount of cash reserves. But there's confusion on what that actually means. If we have any experts in financial affairs, we're in the 7th going into our 8th year of having a AAA rating. What does that mean? In the big scheme of things, for the taxpayers of this city, it means we have saved millions of dollars in interest by having a AAA rating. And at the same time, it's just not there for the fun of it. It's there because when you have, hypothetically, what if a tornado just comes right through the middle of town and tears everything up? You do need some capital to be able to manage through all that. But on the positive side, just in the last 5 years, I know you can see here, we've got budgeted about right at $20 million based on this bond proposition. In the last 5 years, with the council's support, we've spent $20 million out of cash reserves just for drainage. In lieu of what we're proposing here, we didn't have to borrow it. No interest, because we're addressing the needs. Drainage is a big deal. Streets and sidewalks, fire department, the Jimmy Burke, this building will come down sooner than not. Unfortunately, the tornado just missed the building. Did I say that out loud? I think I did. Yeah. It missed this building, yes, unfortunately. But nonetheless, we've got plans to replace it, and I'll be showing you that a little bit here. There's some timelines here. We've done it in series 1, 2, and 3 in regards to how we are going out for that. And we've got a lot of this in process, and hopefully you'll see that a lot of our planning is lined up with investing in our infrastructure. So talking about drainage, after Harvey, I know we've got someone here from Cobb Finley. Thank you all for your support. We've been doing a lot of overlaying of data in regards to these are some strategic areas that we have been focusing on in regards to areas that got flooded during Harvey. The Bayou Bend project, this is an interesting project. We partnered up with the county on this one, and we've taken a part where we're adding drainage, but it had with the disc off. And so we're rearranging it, but now we're putting the disc off through the drainage concepts. So I thought it was a great idea and concept of how to maximize space in regards to the Boggy Bayou. Mayor Wagner and I have talked quite a bit about this. It's a drainage corridor that you'll see in the next one that's up in the Deer Park's northwest quadrant, but it splits Pasadena and Deer Park. We've got some capacity issues over there, and it'll be something that we're going to have to work with the county on to how we improve that capacity. But it's something we're working on and looking toward the future. Here's recognizing the county for working with us on some projects. This project happened to be right across from Dabbs Elementary. And again, the emphasis of the partnership, we did secure that property from the school district. And thanks to them for working with us, we're able to effectively look at how do we address these projects. If you look at this project going just back to 19, the schedule list, already, as the stars indicated, a lot of these projects are being accomplished and completed. So it's very nice to stand up here and say not only we're talking about it, but we're doing a lot of things in regards to how do we affect the future, and drainage is a big deal. Streets are just one of them things, you just use them a whole lot, but it's kind of funny. I tell a lot of people, so just drive around Deer Park and find a pothole. Now, if you go outside of Deer Park, I'm not going to throw any of my neighbors, let's just say, if you go to Houston, yeah, you can't avoid the potholes. I mean, I would normally say LaPorte or Pasadena, but since they're here, but in Deer Park, you have a hard time finding potholes, right? So, tornado. Until Tuesday, this was the big deal. Since Tuesday, I think the big deal is water coming from Ohio, but we'll not talk about that. I hope you were able to see, as you were enjoying your meal, a lot of the pictures from the aspect of how it impacted not only Deer Park and Pasadena, and it was a unique experience, not something I expected to deal with on Tuesday, January the 24th. In so many words, it was a normal day. Got up, went to work. I kind of pay attention. My office is on the west side of town, and I tend to watch the weather. And since I'm in landscaping, I definitely want to see when the rain is coming and how it's going to impact us. And I tend to like to beat it back across town. And this day I did the same thing and got home literally 30 minutes or less before the tornado. And the great bonus to get home is my grandson was there. So I was getting to spend a few minutes with him. And it's my son here that's with us today, Corey. It's his offspring, so it's kind of cool now. You know, fair play, buddy. What goes around comes around. He was just telling me how he's just been walking and now he's getting into everything. I'm like, oh yeah, child-proofing your house is really cool. So, going back to the tornado, it was right before it come up. I'll never forget this. So I hear him moving and he was taking a nap. I go in there and I pick him up and I realize, oh, he's kind of heavy. The bottom's kind of full. I'm like, Tammy, can you come help me here? So she was literally finishing up changing his diaper, and we knew something was going on. Because you could hear stuff hitting on the house. I mean, we were right on the edge of the main corridor of the path, and it's like, really? Tornado? I know they said it could happen, but when is the last time the weather has actually been right about hardly anything? They got this one right. Yeah, 1 in a million. But it left a path through Deer Park. But we're strong. It was a blessing that no one got injured. It's amazing to see the destruction up close. I asked some of the state officials as we were driving around Wednesday and Thursday, how in the world did no one get injured? But I can attest, and Mayor Wagner and I have talked about it, in every instance, it was almost as if God had his hand on directing that tornado, because every home that was destroyed in Deer Park, they were at work. And the schools that were full, which I passed one literally going to the EOC, and Parents were in the streets waiting to pick up their schools. That was at 2:49, right as school was letting out. It's a miracle. And I don't think it's a coincidence. I just think that God had his hand on this community. He didn't let any schools get hit. No one was injured. And I'm, for one, grateful to God that that's what occurred. So it's defined us. Obviously, these are some simple scenarios. You kind of take these for granted until you're in the middle of it and you realize how important it is to be prepared to deal with it. And as Mayor Wagner and I have said, talked about this, the more you go through these exercises, the more efficient you become at it. But God, I hope we don't have to deal with another event anytime soon. Can y'all start praying that God will let some of them go to LaPorte or anywhere else but Deer Park? I'm sorry, Bubba, I didn't mean to throw you under the bus. But I couldn't be more pleased with the response. The EOC, I know we've got a lot represented here from the department, of the fire department, the EMS. They were just superstars, in my opinion, in regards to how they responded. And I've seen several. That's right. I was talking to Fire Chief Davis here recently about a note I had received from one of the responding agency commending our department on how they coordinated the evacuation or the removal of all the patients at San Jacinto Manor. We were really blessed, and I'm grateful that, as you'll see in the next little bit, we're able to invest into equipping many departments, but specifically the fire department, to be able to allow them to not only do their jobs, but do it more efficiently than ever before. So, the cities. I don't know what to say without it getting emotional. Yes, I've realized I'm going to really have to start being nice about LaPorte, because they were the first ones that showed up in Deer Park from the outside arena. Even on Tuesday evening, as everything was being assessed, I kind of turned to my right, and there's an employee from Public Works from LaPorte just standing next to me. And I just looked at him, and it just took me a second. It's like, LaPorte. And I just said, thank you. I ended up texting Bubba later and thanks for sending guys over. He may not have even known that they were over, just to throw you under the bus again. But he actually said, and it's so true, he goes, well, I know you'd have done it for us. And I'm like, yes, we would have, because that's just what we do on the East End. But these are all the cities that literally sent crews and personnel and equipment to help us remove the debris. I was blessed to have the opportunity to meet with the governor on Monday to express our appreciation. And I could say every phase, from the state support, it expedited timelines from weeks on assessing the damage down to 24 hours because of the resources the state sent down to us. And on the debris cleanup, there's no question it would have been months. And we narrowed down the bulk of it to within 12 to 14 days, where we had the streets cleaned up and back open, and in some aspects getting back to normal. So now we're going into what I would say is the fun stuff. This is where I really get passionate about making sure that the future. So what is the future from my perspective? We're talking the next 50 to 100 years. How do we leave this community in a better place? Well, investing in infrastructure is an evil necessity that you have to do. A lot of the facilities that we're replacing, especially in the fire department, are in the 50 to 70 years that they've been under use, and I would say they've pretty much outlived their usefulness. So here's a video that's going to show Fire Station 1 and some of what we've got planned there. So as you can see, the timeline is coming up pretty rapidly. If you didn't kind of get the aspect of where it's located, it's literally right here to the northwest corner of this facility. There's a lot that's cleared out over there, and that's where Fire Station 1 is going to be going. Fire Station 2, which is going to be located over off Pasadena and Luella, is also in the works to get replaced. There's a timeline on Fire Station 2, and some of you may have heard me say this before. Chief Davis and some of the command staff had went to a conference a few years back now, and one of the things that came out of that conference in one of the sessions, that it was actually stated that Deer Park, Texas is the best place to have a heart attack. And the statistical reason why is because you have the highest chance of recovery and making it through because of the service, because of the employees that provide that service, because of the equipment and the stuff they have and the proximity of being able to deliver the life-saving services they need. And to the fire department that's here and represented, thank you so much for the job you do. Did I accidentally say earlier, I wish the tornado would have took the roof off of this? Well, let me show you what we're going to replace it with. This facility will be built literally adjacent to this one because we'll have to keep this in aspects of programming going until we complete the construction on that. So it'll be just to this side of it. I'm really excited about that. I think it's going to be a tremendous asset to the community. The museum aspect, I'd always be remiss if I didn't acknowledge Councilwoman Garrison's work on preserving the history of our community, and we've incorporated in this thanks to the donations from Shell. I'm remiss if I didn't see anybody from Shell. Thank you. Yes, I know you guys are here for y'all's contributions. They've significantly invested in helping us to expand the museum and be able to not only display historical stuff, but preserve it and keep it in storage. And so I'm looking forward to that project. I think it's going to be a great project. Also, in the same vein, the community center, which is just adjacent to City Hall, right across the parking lot, we're going to be starting this one literally in the next few months. And fortunately, unfortunately, it did peel, that little tornado thing I was talking about earlier, it did peel a big section of that roof off, and temporarily we were able to fix it to use it between now and June. But in June, that building will be coming down. This is what we're looking at to replacing it with. really exciting from, if anybody's been in our current facility over there, it's a single gym. This one's going to have a double gym, so we'll be able to break it up into a lot more programming in that. And one of the cool phases of something that it was really important to all of us, the Parks Commission, the council, was integrating a lot more quality of life. So it's going to have a walking track up on the second story overlooking the gyms where you'll be able to walk and exercise inside with workout areas, and then all the necessary space that we need for the current programming that's occurring in our community that contributes to the basis of the quality of life in our city. So another one of them programs that's pretty interesting. Hike and bike trails, this one to me was one of the ones I was really looking forward to. It's most probably the least cost factor, but to me it's very impacting. This is going to be the first phase. We've got, I believe, 4 phases total. I stand to be corrected on that, where we're going to be literally connecting. There's 26 parks. Is that right, Charlie? 26 parks, and we're going to have trail system that's going to connect to every park. So you'll literally be able to access them trails and go anywhere, hiking and biking on it. And we were just recognized here last week or so through HGAC in regards to special recognition of this being a project that's contributing to the quality of life in our community. And it's something I'm really proud to see, and actually have enjoyed it here recently. These are some of the trails that go into the Winfield Estates on the north end and goes up to right adjacent to the San Jacinto Elementary School in that corridor, and it comes all the way back down the X Street. So it's a really nice asset that we're just using space in our drainage corridor to actually provide that amenity. So it's been pretty neat. The Deer Park Soccer Complex was something we started a number of years ago, but we had to do it in phases where we didn't have enough parking. So we're now, if you've driven by there recently, you'll see this project is ongoing right now, where we've got construction going on, adding more parking to that. It's right on the corner of East and 13th Street. So there's 6 full fields there, soccer complex, adding the parking to where there shouldn't be any limitations of being able to use full capacity to that. EOC, these are one of these things that you hope you never use it, but in Deer Park, I don't know what's been going on for the last 6 years. We use that now so often, I can't wait to get this project done. It actually broke ground the week of the tornado. Is that right, Chief? So it's here's a little bit on what that's going to look like. So like I said, that project just broke ground. So hopefully within the next year, we'll be able to get into that facility. You don't really, as things have evolved, I know during the tornado, the one thing that kind of stood out to me is there was not only normally, which there normally is a lot of media requests, but a lot of them wanted to do it via Zoom. And it was interesting, my little cubicle that I kind of had, for me, it was funny because I'd kind of close these doors behind me and I'm on there, and it was every time it's like, can you adjust the camera and lighting? And I'm like thinking, it ain't gonna help this right here, no matter what light you put on it. But it was still quite interesting how we had to accommodate, and that was one of the things that came out. It's like, please tell me we're gonna get some light. I'm not for sure if light's gonna help this, but at least they'll be able to see me better. I guess that's good. But I'm really excited about that one and seeing how that's going to evolve. So, fortunately for you, I'm just about done. And this was something that I hear quite often, and I wanted to kind of close today with this, as I not only speak it over all of you that are here, but speak it over our community. So, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you. May he be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. As I close today, the state of the city is based upon this simple thing: good jobs, great schools, safer streets, and stronger families. The state of the city of Deer Park, in my opinion, is fantastic. Thanks to council, to the support that we have amongst each other, to the staff working so effectively with the elected officials. I couldn't be more proud of where we're at as a city. And if we can just get somebody to pray to stop all these events. But fortunately, we're prepared to manage them, and I look forward to the future. So thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for being here. May God bless you.